I'm sorry, what was the question?
Hey everybody, this is Josh.
And this is Shay, and welcome to episode 2 of Creative Podcast.
Today we have a wonderful photographer with us, and we just got to come to Brooklyn and do an amazing shoot with her. Her name is Krystallyne Gonzalez, and she's with Bad Cat Media, and we are so excited to have you on our show.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're glad we had the
This is
time
adorable.
to get here and do an amazing shoot with you. I can't tell you how impressed we are with your work.
Yeah.
Aww.
Can't wait to show you guys our beautiful photos.
Yes, and all the photos that we talk about today will be up on the website, so we're going to get right into it. I gotta say, you are amazing with light.
Oh, thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your photography background so our listeners can understand where you came from and where you're going and all that good
Yeah.
stuff?
So I went to the School of Visual Arts. I graduated in 2009 with a BFA from in photography, and then I was assisting photographer David Yellen for about 4 or 5 years, from 2006 to I guess longer. 2000. I can't do the math. 2006 to like 2010. No, 4 years. Yeah. And he basically gave me my assistant boot camp in learning how to do portrait photography and just being on set. And then from there I branched out and I found some other assistants, and they took me on to more commercial, larger commercial jobs. And I've been a commercial lighting assistant for 14 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she is amazing at lighting. That's how we met, actually, on set. So we have a little bit of a history, and I think that...
I'm telling you not to touch anything.
Yes!
I've got it. Leave me alone.
I don't need your help.
Hands off.
But look at us now. We're good friends, so...
So, I'm curious, how did you get into photography? Is it something that you always loved growing up, or is it something that you just kind of fell into, or?
I basically just fell into it. I had always thought that I would do something in art. That's what I really liked. And I didn't have a direction, and one day my uncle gave me his old Canon, and I took some pictures, and I just said, well, this is what I'm going to go to school for.
Wow.
I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really have structure behind me to understand where to go or what to do. I was just kind of flip-flopping through life. And I said, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to go to college, and I'm going to get the fuck out of here. And that's what I did.
And done and done.
I made all those steps, and then when I got here, now I'm just trying to just maintain that.
What was one of the hardest things to break into photography after you graduated? Was it your first job? Like, can you tell us, like, what was the...
We're in New York City, by the way, so that's why we've got motorcycles and background noise.
No, because I was interning with someone, and technically I was interning. I did like office stuff for him as an intern, but he always paid me for set shoots. I did one intern set shoot, and from that day forward, he paid me for everything. So there was never a gap. And the photographer that I fell in with actually he became more like family to me. Like he became like my
mentor.
Yeah. He was my mentor. He was like a I would say a mentor. And it was, he helped me progress step by step, basically. So if I needed a job, he always like pimped me out to his friends and be like, Olga needs her apartment painted, her studio painted, I went to paint her studio, Roxanne needs someone to organize her archive, Shannon needs help with everything. So like I did everything for everyone. I put together everyone's offices, I organized them, I painted apartments, I, moved things for people. Like, there wasn't a thing that I didn't do if you were offering me money for it.
Right.
So you had the hustle.
Yeah, there was a hustle. I went to school, I assisted, and then I had my side hustles.
Yeah.
So,
and why portraits? Why the love of portraits? I mean, if you when you see her photos on her creator page, you will see how she can capture somebody's soul in a picture, and how she not
True.
soul, but like
Personality.
personality. Yeah, she doesn't capture it like.
She's not stealing your soul, but she captures the essence of who you are.
Yes.
Like, she gets your, like, you will see Josh and I's portrait. It's absolutely gorgeous. We'll share it with you guys. But we feel that she captured our personalities and our relationship and how we feel about each other and our comfort level with each other in a photo, which is something truly incredible.
that's what
Yeah.
a portrait should be.
Right.
It should just communicate who you are.
Right.
And I also love the portraits that you do with the drag community, and also the empowerment of women that you do. Like, you do these photos that are engaging, that are portraits, that aren't like the portrait pictures you're thinking of. They're making ugly faces, or they're doing something that is unusual or attention grabbing, but not in the typical way you would think of it. Am I explaining that right?
In the
No,
traditional way, yeah.
I think that's the nicest way anyone has ever described it, and it feels like you just made me feel like I recognized in a way. Like I've never words put to it, and I don't know. I feel very warm inside right now.
Oh,
You
that's
just
great. She didn't see that one coming.
I didn't.
You got
I
it.
didn't.
You got it, Josh. She didn't see that one
I'm
coming.
gonna be nice to
She's
you
like,
from
what am
now on."
I supposed to do with these emotions here? Don't know what to do with these. I feel warm inside. What is this?
Oh.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Just that you do portraits that are not these
Typical.
boring portraits,
Yeah.
and it's not this typical. I'm a woman. I'm gonna look pretty. I'm a woman. I can be ugly. I'm a woman. I can have a cigarette, and I
You're supposed to just come
can.
here and be you, and that's all I want, because that's what human beings are. And this whole idea that we're supposed to structure each other be structured to care about whether or not you like the color of my shirt, or
I like that.
if I should change the color of my eyes so it's more appealing to you. That doesn't make any sense.
I love that. That is so empowering and freeing.
Yeah. And portraits are supposed to be about you. Like,
Right.
it's not supposed to be
A representative of what
Yeah.
you're supposed to.
And
yeah.
most of the people that come over, they're not really selling something. Like, that's what commercial portraits are for.
Yeah.
You're like selling your movie, or you're selling, something that you do. But these people that come over, they're just my friends.
Right.
Or like, I don't like to use and manipulate people, and I think that's weird. Like, maybe psychologically, if you sit down in the seat, like, and I need to get something from you, like, I need you to be
Or
expressive.
get validated,
Yeah.
or something like that, right?
Yeah. So, it's just about coming over and being relaxed, and it's not a big show
Right.
when you come over to my apartment. It's just kind of like,
It was a wonderful
come
experience.
do your thing, sit down.
Yeah.
So how do you feel looking at people from behind the lens? Because we know what it feels like. Because sometimes we come in and we're nervous, and you make us feel comfortable. Do you have any kind of
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Do you
Absolutely nerve-wracking.
for
Are
you?
you fucking kidding? Yeah.
For you?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Because we're always
We're
concerned about
nervous.
our side.
Yeah, I know, but my job is to make you not nervous.
But then it's interesting to hear that on your side, you're nervous too.
Oh yeah, because
didn't
everyone's
show
nervous
it.
all the time.
No, not at all.
You didn't show it at all.
Oh, I'm nervous all the time.
Really?
Yeah, constantly.
I would never have thought that. I
No.
just thought, like, photographers behind the lens, this is your space, this is your home, you're just so comfortable, and that's from the other side. So it's interesting to hear your perspective.
No, they're just as scared as you are.
So what would you tell, like, an up-and-coming photographer who feels nervous, right, from being behind the lens, and a customer comes in, client, whatever, and they're about to shoot? How do you calm yourself down?
You just have to be comfortable knowing that you're going to get the best picture that you're going to get.
Oh, that's great advice.
Yeah, it is.
There's nothing you can. I mean, it's taken me years to understand that.
Listen, it's not easy, people. It's
Yeah.
not easy.
It sounds easy. It came out in 3 words, but it's not that easy. Yeah.
It doesn't come that easy, you know? I started off as a scared, nervous, teenager, didn't know what I was doing, 20-something-year-old, whatever age I was. And there are things that you learn along the way and that you pick up. And through assisting, that gives me the perspective to be able to watch so many other photographers and DPs and directors and occasionally pick their brain and get their perspective. And you know what, they say the same thing, they're nervous, they're scared, they don't know what's going to happen. They go in with an idea, and sometimes that idea doesn't work out, and you just have to roll with it.
Most of the time.
Yeah,
So how do you
and
do-
you find out what you get something even better sometimes.
When do you know that when as a photographer do you know that you got that person in that spot where they're vulnerable to you, or not vulnerable to you, but when they're opening up to you and you can catch their essence of who they are? Like working
that
with you
even a goal?
today. Well, no, working today with you at that portrait, there was a moment when I totally felt relaxed.
Right.
And I feel like we got into that, and the pictures that were taken were just.
Yeah.
But how do you know when you're
I
in
have
that?
to give you a psych evaluation.
I failed. They'd be like, Sarah, please lock him up.
Take him away.
No, it's all about, it's the same way we build relationships. Like, I have to just interpret who you are, and then see what about what you do most often, or something that just seems like you. I think it's more intuitive at some point. But
Yeah. Well, you
it's
do
no real-
beautiful portraits, and go take a look. Her portraits just show people in their rawest but sweetest, and all these different emotions. And literally, her lighting, her eyes, wonderful.
thank you.
And you know what's interesting? Like in terms of branding and storytelling and all that stuff, as a photographer, you're actually in the business of people. Like on the surface level, it's just photography, but that takes some kind of understanding and work to be able to make people comfortable, to get them to open up where you can take great photos of them. Have you ever had a situation whereby someone is just not opening up, or maybe it's not going well? Like how do you deal with someone who's just like, I'm not giving anything? Or does that happen?
A model come in, and she was so sensitive, and I don't discount her sensitivity, but on one flip of the coin, she was doing a job, and on the other flip of the coin, I'm not her therapist. So there's just a point that you have to learn not to either interact with someone or to just allow them to do whatever it is that they're
Gonna do.
gonna do.
Yeah, and not take it to heart. Yeah.
But usually you can work those problems out with someone, but it doesn't happen with every person, and that, she's not a bad person, maybe she was just having a bad day, maybe, there are, lots of different ways that we conflicted, and it didn't go well.
Yeah.
It definitely didn't go well, I think.
This one, not so well.
Not so
Let's
well.
not talk about that one.
That one didn't go so well. But for the most part, everyone just comes in with the best attitude that they can.
Right.
Yeah.
And, even if you're in a bad mood, I'm totally here to shoot it, but you've got to be willing to let me shoot it.
Right. That's true.
Can't be against each other.
It's interesting.
So we're going to switch gears a little bit here. So you started a company called Bad Cat Media, and you've done 3 shows now, right? How was the success for those? I love the Polaroid one that you did,
Thank
and the
you.
sex one. I think that those photos, and why are Polaroids so coveted in the photography world?
Because they're glamorous. You take one picture and then it's just magic. You don't have to take 500 pictures and sort through. There's just one picture, and it develops, and you don't know what color is going to really come out. You don't really, there's an unpredictability to it that
That's
encapsulates
exciting.
the essence of photography.
That's
You're catching that one moment. There is no 500
There-
shots.
No, we're not picking, we're not choosing. We got one picture, and it's fucking awesome, and that's it. So Bad Cat Media exhibits came out of extreme boredom. and I was
Very cute.
I was livid. I wasn't getting anywhere in photography, and working constantly, and I was just tired, and nothing seemed to be going right. And that's why I shoot my flower pictures, because they give me some kind of like joy, even when I feel shitty. And so I wanted to be able to, I wasn't doing anything, and I knew all my friends weren't doing anything. Digital techs, DPs, like people that you're doing commercial work, but they weren't, they were shooting their own personal work, and they weren't doing anything with it. They're just sitting on hard drives and just, being binary code. So I decided to do the exhibits where we rent a space and get a little bar going, and then people can come in and just have a party and be able to celebrate their work. And most of these people had never been in an exhibit before, so to them it was really magical, very special, and like to be able to celebrate with your friends and have your work behind glass and have that experience, that like gallery feeling,
Right.
Even though it was low key and we kind of like, it wasn't,
Yeah.
But still, you got the feeling of
Yeah.
of getting my work shown and
Yeah.
having people see it, right?
we were, so it gave them a night to celebrate themselves with their friends, and we had a really large turnout for most of the shows, and it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have another one during this time, or are you gonna hold off, or are you gonna do
I
it big?
have been asked that question.
Yes.
I would like to. I was planning on doing so, but ideally, I would not like to. I would like it if the exhibitors weren't the photographers in the exhibit. Didn't have to pay a fee up front going in, so I need to find like some backing. I need some money.
Right. You guys, do you hear that? We need some backing for this year. Yeah, we need some backing, okay, people?
Because it was
Yes.
paying for it out of pocket, and
that's a lot.
the photographers were, helping pay for the event space.
Yeah.
And then we were selling like tickets to buy alcohol, but it would be ideal if we could just have them come in and serve alcohol like a traditional gallery would.
Right.
Yes.
Right. A sponsor would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a sponsor. There we go.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the wording. Overcomplicated.
We need a sponsor for the next exhibit. Yes.
But the work is amazing there. Like, I loved the sex show that you did, and the
Thank you.
Polaroids was just a cool concept, because anybody that's in the photography world or art direction or fashion, Polaroids are cool.
They are.
things. Like,
They're-
I love my
The
Polaroids.
Polar Journey was a huge hit. Like, we had so many photographers, mixed level of experiences.
Wow.
I had, Korean Black in the show. I had just people from like established photographers all the way down to like someone who's only doing it as a hobby.
Yeah.
So like, there were like 28 people in the
But
show.
that's a great gamut to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you never know. Like, I always think that
4x5. There was
Yeah, you'll never know it. That you see somebody else do something, and I always love studio. When I saw somebody else do something, I'd be like, oh, I could try that, but in this way.
Yeah.
So I think the idea that you have there is beautiful, to just share the love of photography,
Right.
whether you're a hobbyist or whether you're, a Hollywood photographer or whatever.
Right.
You have ideas that are exchanging there.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you keep on going with
Thank
that, and I
you.
hope we
It's a
can
really
get
nice
Yeah.
way to see your friends too.
Yes. It's true.
have a
Get
party.
everyone in the same space.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Shay and I started this podcast, and we work full-time jobs, in graphic design, and it is hard to do your own stuff.
Yeah.
How do you find that balance when you work for, you were saying commercial photography and doing lighting, but then to still have the time and the passion? Is it hard for you at times to have that?
Sometimes it really depends, because I'm a freelancer, so it really depends on what job I take and what I do for the week, or like just really what that job entails. Like, you can go in and do an e-com shoot and do nothing all day long and, you know, come home and be mildly tired, or you
Right.
can be running around the beach with like lots of scrims and like fighting the wind and
Yeah.
just
Like
want to
we're
go
in
to
that.
sleep for a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly.
Freezing our butts off,
For
not allowed to
freezing
go
ourselves,
inside,
yeah.
and
Oh,
outside
God.
snowing for
Yeah.
2 days.
It's not glamorous, this photography thing. It's
That's
really
a
not
big
that
misconception.
glamorous.
Yeah, like
The
people
picture looks nice, but behind the scenes,
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
true.
little bit of a shit show.
Yeah, that's true.
It is.
And you had the best humor with that. Yeah, I gotta say,
Yeah.
she is so sarcastic on set, and she's so quick-witted too. That's what I
Yes.
loved about her. So quick with she would just say
Sure,
something,
figure
and nobody would pay attention. But that was funny. That was real funny. Nobody hear this? Nobody hear her? Because that was hysterical.
That's hilarious.
So I always
Thank you.
appreciated your humor on
Yeah.
set.
Thank you.
And the sarcasm.
That's really nice to hear. Thank you very much.
Of course. You know, I think that it's got to be also hard being freelance. And like, because I would think I did my own company for a little bit, and I gotta say that it was either feast or famine.
Yeah.
Like
Finding
either
work is
I'm gorged,
difficult.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
did you ever have a job that was a full-time photography gig?
No.
No.
No, I've been freelance for 14 years.
Would you go back to working full time?
Absolutely not. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I can't.
Yeah.
No.
If everybody can see her grin right now, you see what she means.
No. Yeah.
I know. I considered doing factory work and like going out, and this sounds really shitty on my part, but even like I went to go sign up to do like volunteer work during COVID, and I would just bring the morale down. Like it would just.
We know about that.
Oh yeah, we had that at lunch today.
Yeah, we had it at lunch
Poor
today.
Shay, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Just a different perspective now.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
My God. So we're gonna switch gears again. So I am so excited that we are going to be working with you on creating a few T-shirts that are going to be limited prints
Yes.
with your
I'm very excited to see this.
Yes.
something simple, right?
Right.
Something simpler.
simpler.
Yeah.
I loved this photography style that you do with these flowers.
It's beautiful.
That just takes it to the simplest form. It's one petal on, and the way that you light it
Yeah.
is just incredible, and the simplicity, but also the complexity that you show.
That's
Where
true.
it's not just this perfect flower; it's decomposed. It's getting cut with scissors. It's changing the colors and the backgrounds, and it's just. I've never seen flowers done like this. I guess. I
Right.
would say.
Neither have I.
I just kind of like to go with the mood.
I was
and
about to say it's moody.
Usually,
Yes.
yeah, I'm moody.
No.
Who would have thought?
Sorry. But I usually start off in my own
That's
mood,
gorgeous.
and then I
I
go
love
to the flower store and I pick something,
That's
and then I guess usually it reflects. I pick the flower that's going to reflect.
But look at
my
that
mood.
lighting, how you have this. The background is almost a lightish gray, but you have it lit so perfectly that you can see the vibrance, but then it goes all black almost to the edges. Like, I mean, that takes technique and years of experience to get that. I mean, a lot of, like...
I love shadow. I just really, really, really love shadow. And like, if there's no depth in there and there's no detail, it doesn't matter to me. I just have to.
I love that though.
I just love.
You know, it is the depth that you have in these flowers. It's the richness that it brings and the whole curve that you bring with the petal.
Thank you.
And for me, I think it's also because I like simplicity.
Yes.
I like how you move from detail to the black that brings it down from like its full form down to the most basic outline of the form. I think that's just so amazing.
Thank you. There's
Like on each one,
I
like
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
just like that transition.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
look at
but
this
that's-
one where it's mostly white and you have this black stem. And I love this 3-part, how you took is that 3 different flowers or the same flower at different
Stages.
stages?
Those are 3 different flowers.
Okay.
I was holding them. Sorry, I had to think about it for a second. I was like, what did I do? Yeah, those are 3 different flowers that I decayed at the same time. I just kind of ripped them apart.
But it's simple yet complex at the same time. I don't know if I'm explaining that well.
I think that
It's-
they're a mix of character of the flower and my character.
That's what, yeah, it's simple and complex at the same time. Like on the surface level, it's a simple flower, but it's not just that.
Now, this is a series that I love, which I'm sorry, I think it
Yeah.
does seem very sexual in
It does.
orientation
They
to me.
were. They came out really slimy.
Yeah, but it's almost like this like latex over the
Yes.
flower.
Yes.
And this kind of form,
Mhm.
like it's just the form. It's not. I would never look at it if this was blown up. It would take me a minute to even recognize that it was a plant
It
or a
reminds me
flower.
of a photographer. There's a photographer who did body art just like this. Do you know what I'm talking about? I forget.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't.
Yeah, yeah, and this is what it reminds me of.
Yeah, same kind of form.
Body
but
forms, yeah.
But it's beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. I bought one of these prints from you, but the yellow background,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which I get compliments on that all the time.
I like the black and white though.
So, and how much do you sell? Like, what do the prints usually run? And
It depends on how big they are. I traditionally like to sell 8x10s on 11x14 for $75, and then I have smaller prints that I sell for about $15 to $25.
and then do you? How do you prefer people to get in contact with you about prints?
On
the website?
Email me, call me.
Mm-hmm.
Anything?
I don't know, just
Website,
reach out.
Instagram,
A lot of
DM.
people DM me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have all my information up on my website, on the contact page, and yeah, preferably email so we just get all the details out and laid out, and I don't have to
Perfect.
chase down different avenues. That would be great.
I would love to see one of these flower things done huge. Like I'm
That's
talking.
exactly what I was
I've done
thinking.
them 30x40.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I
Oh, I'm
was.
sold
talking
it-
like on the side of a building.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
That
You
would
know,
be really cool.
just to
I've always
see
wanted to
this
do
like
large print.
30, like 10 stories tall.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that would be amazing.
That would be.
I'd like to see it painted actually on there.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Graffiti artists, hello.
Yeah.
Call us. Murals. We have some ideas.
So, what have you learned through the, I guess, the process of your career that I guess you didn't learn in school that you would, that
Nothing
shocked
that
you?
you learned in school matters, and don't waste your money going to school.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. Thank you. Just there we go straight. Yeah, that's
I
it.
learned more my first year out of art college, first year than my 3 years in there. I mean, it's.
Wasting money.
Well, someone would say, so if you say don't go to school, so what are you saying? Like, should I take a photography course instead
Apprenticeship.
and learn from that? Or, like, how would I start? Like, let's say I want to do photography.
Pick up a camera and you figure out how to use the exposure. There's lots of resources on, I know that sounds terrible, it's very like rigid of me, but there's lots of resources online
Yeah.
that can teach you. Find a buddy, somebody who's done it before. Once you understand, and there's always manual mode, and digital photography these days is just what it is, you know? Find a friend who can teach you, and from there on out, if you're a good learner, you will pick it up and move forward. It does not require a degree.
Would
All you have to do is be able to make a picture, frame a picture, and whatever your vision is and however you make a picture, that is your photograph. And that's all that matters.
Now she says digital and all that stuff, but I don't think digital could take these pictures.
Exactly.
Like this is like when you see this.
It's different.
Yes.
Well, because that's what I was gonna ask. How, like, where do you feel photography is going? Because like everyone these days feels like they're a photographer, but you have to have an eye, you have to have training, you have to have experience, and to really, you know, be a photographer. But some people would beg to differ. How do you feel about that whole thing that everyone's taking their iPhone now and thinks
I
they?
have seen bloggers be photographers who've never known what to do with, a camera. You could always pay somebody to figure out all the other details for you. It's part of my job is to know how to do it, and somebody will hire me to do it for them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You don't.
Just like a ghostwriter or
Yeah.
something,
You should.
right?
You
That's
should talk to some
interesting.
digital techs. They've got some interesting stories.
That's so.
Yeah, I never did that.
Photography has become very simple, but
Isn't that on a
if you
surface
are an
level?
artist
Yeah.
inside,
Yeah.
inside you,
Right.
then that will come out no matter what.
Oh.
It doesn't matter if you know the math and the science behind photography. It just matters if you got what you were looking to get.
Right.
And like you see this spot of light on the floor, and then you have an idea. I'm gonna put a face in it. I want to put clothing in it. I want to put X, Y, and Z in it. And then you make that picture, and that's your art. Like that's.
I like that. Your vision, your
that's
idea.
That's your vision. That's it.
That's beautifully said.
That is, yeah. And nobody else can replicate that. Yeah.
Said something. I don't know if it was beautiful, but.
No, it was. But you're just saying that, like, no matter where it's going, there's still going to be
That's
artists.
art
It's
that-
still
that's
it's
what-
still going to be the eye
Yeah,
of the
the
artist
artist.
that brings you this image.
The Rembrandt trading is not applicable here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just not
Yeah.
how modern art really is.
Right.
Would you ever teach?
No, absolutely not.
That's why I love her.
No.
No?
I've
Would you
been
ever
asked that question
mentor?
before.
Or have you ever mentored?
No, I'm not delicate enough to do that.
Gotcha.
You've been
No, I
talking, right?
That's funny.
Well, you never know. You know, some people like that.
I
you know?
would not mind, but I also am very blunt,
Yeah.
and I think that's the only way. Like, I
I
can
I-
only be blunt.
Yeah.
If I try to be sensitive about something, I can't talk. So I have to just spit it out.
It's
Yeah.
true. But what I'm saying is that could be a good thing for some people that learn. Like, I remember my one teacher was the biggest dick I ever knew, but I knew if I did something
I
right.
respected that.
Yeah, I respected him too, because if I got a yes out of him, I know I did
Yeah,
something
you felt
right.
good about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You felt like you achieved
Yeah.
something.
So
You've
that could
been
be
working
totally
towards
you.
a goal.
That's true.
No, the systems are way too sensitive. I have
Oh,
a
yeah,
friend
that's
who
true.
teaches at Parsons, and she's on complete scrutiny.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So I guess my last question, I don't know about Josh, but
Yes,
my
I
last
can go.
question is, what does being a creator mean to you?
Being a creator, I don't really see myself as being a creator. I'm sorry, I'm cynical.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's why we love you.
Yes.
It's you.
Yeah, I don't really know what it means to me. I just don't know because I'm still searching for it. All I know is that I have an unnecessary fetish in my life to create, and that's
it.
all I can do.
I love it.
It's the only thing that makes me happy, and it's the only thing I want to do, and if I can't do it, fuck it. But at the same time, I don't want to do it because it's fucking labor.
Then you get lazy, then you get pissed off.
Yeah.
It's all these
It's
emotions.
But I love that.
emotions.
Because that is
She will always give
exactly
an answer.
what that's exactly what a creator is.
Yeah.
Right?
It's something that
It's in
just
you. You want to create.
You have no control over it. You just have to do it.
You could do nothing else.
And she may
I
not say it,
literally can do
and you'll
nothing
say
else.
for
I am-
her, she is a creator.
$100,000 in student loan debt.
Later, yeah.
Can do
Isn't-
nothing
don't
else.
you think-
Train for nothing else.
Don't you think that's kind of highway robbery? You pay for the art supplies, you pay for the photography,
Oh,
you pay
gosh.
for
Pay
the
for
school.
everything.
And people are like, oh, art school is like whatever. I'm like, you know how much debt I am for this? And you know how hard it is
For
to
the
put
rest
your.
of my life.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a chain
I
line.
And then they promise you 98% employment placement as soon as you get out of college. And most people who graduated with us, Josh, were not in any field of what they went to school
No.
for many years afterwards, even close to 5, 6, 7 years.
The real problem with the system is like I should never have gotten into art school. Like I did not have the
I wish somebody
background. I
would've
did not
stopped
have the like. There was nothing. Which somebody did try to stop me.
Oh,
I was like,
should have listened. No, I'm
I
just
should have
joking.
listened, but
No, she
my
shouldn't.
life was
Her
such
work is
shit that I
beautiful.
thought if I didn't do this one thing, I would regret it. But lo and behold, I regret it anyway. They just want your money.
That's true.
So they
That's
will
what I feel.
accept you even if you do not deserve to be in the school.
I agree.
So
I don't even know why they made us all the way from Zimbabwe. I was creating all these slides. Do you know how much money and time it took me to create slides to submit to college of my work?
Yeah.
oh yeah, I did the laziest fucking slide presentation.
Where's the
it
clicker?
was the shittiest. Somehow I got it. They're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate your work, and we are so glad
Thank
that
you
you
very
ended
much.
up in art school. We are so glad that
Yes.
you are cynical, and we are so glad that you do this beautiful
Thank you
work,
very much.
and I get to be alive to look at it and appreciate
Aw.
And enjoy
it
it.
and enjoy it.
That's an incredible
So,
compliment.
for everybody who wants to see Krystallyne's beautiful work,
Please visit her creator page, and we'll have all of the link information that you can go to. You can Instagram her to get her prints.
Email,
email. She is a little cynical, so you know
I
she
mean,
doesn't.
that pickup, right?
don't expect a sweet little hi. This is Krystallyne.
What? What do you want?
What do you
Come
want?
on. Pick the picture
Just-
up, snap it.
Just
Come
tell
here.
me what it is.
But we do really appreciate your time, and I just really want to say a very, very sincere thank you
Yes,
for being on the show and
for our photos.
capturing us
Yeah.
as who we are in this moment in time.
Thanks,
Yes.
guys. Thank
you.
you for coming. I really appreciate that you included me. That you wanted me to
course.
be. I think that's just super special to begin with.
Aw.
Well, you better keep us in the loop of if you have another show. I would love to put that up
Yes.
and promote that
Absolutely.
for all our people and listeners that live in New York to come
Yeah.
visit and support
Yeah.
and
Thank you.
help other photographers create your beautiful work.
Aw, thanks, guys.
Yay.
Uh,
Well, this is
alright.
great. We had a wonderful day in Brooklyn today.
We did.
Yes,
and that's a
fantastic.
wrap.
It was
Yeah,
nice.
This is great.
Yes, thank you.
All right. And remember, it's more than art. It's life. Imagine more.